What in the cost of living crisis energy bills are set to go up again bullshit is this?
But roughly 7 a.m. this morning, the energy price cap's going to be announced, and it's going to be expected to hit a 3-year high.
Oh my days. Will you just look at this? I saw this on another platform. These are the average energy prices across Europe. Look like annual prices.
Hello, yes, I'm calling because, don't worry, the 2-hour wait was absolutely fine. I've got nothing better to do with my day.
Is my electric company charging me mad prices? Huh? £2,008.88 British sterling pennies, big man. Nah. Oh, that's £167 a month.
If you ever want to know how bad the cost of living crisis is, come to Co-op.
£7.25 for 4 flakes.
What language are you talking about?
So I've just opened my phone to a wonderful new notification saying that energy bills are due to rise by 4% in October in the UK. And I'm so sick of reading notifications like that and how we have just accepted it as completely normal. Meanwhile, every single energy provider is still profiting. 26.2 billion since the start of 2026. It is absolutely outrageous that ordinary average people who are going to work every day and trying to earn like 13, 15 to max £20 an hour for the average person are looking at notifications like that and instantly going into like maybe a panic because like, oh my god, that's like, I think it said like a couple hundred extra for the year, and they're going up in October, obviously when the heating starts going on. It's just crazy how we're meant to accept this, and meanwhile the companies are all profiting. End stage capitalism in general. Like, people ask why. People are so fed up. And it's because we're being scammed here. We're actually being scammed. We're working 5, 6, 7 days a week for extra money, saving £50, £20, putting aside for Christmas.
Welcome to Blighty Blighted, your daily reminder that, like you saw from the thumbnail, energy bills in Britain are going up again, and I'm beginning to wonder whether these bloody prices know where the ceiling is. From October, the energy price cap is set to rise again, which means another squeeze on households that are already dealing with an enormous collection of bills. And frankly, people should be bloody angry. Not because everybody is going to be ruined by this particular increase, but because it's yet another increase piled onto everything else. You pay the rent or mortgage, council tax, food bills, insurance, petrol, and all the other expenses of modern life, and then the energy company comes along with its hand out once again. At this rate, my bank account doesn't need a burglar. It's got direct debits.
So from October, your energy bills are going up again, another £60 a year, bringing the average household to £1,723 a year just to put the lights on. And I thought they cut our energy bills by £300 a year. Watch the left hand whilst the right hand picks your pocket.
I see people crying on TikTok about the cost of living. Labour pledged to reduce all these bills by £300 a year, and they've now since gone up by £400. Yes, we had a little reduction on that, but now we've been told there's going to be another 4% rise with a further 9% rise potentially in January. I run out of money every month, and everyone else does too. We can't just keep having to get more jobs, work more hours, just so we can continue to pay for the things that we've always paid for, but we have to work more to be able just to do that. It doesn't work. Something's got to change. People getting free stuff and other people are just working so hard to achieve the same thing. It's not fair, and it's not right, and it's got to stop.
Like, I'm a care and support worker, yeah, so what, I make £12.50 an hour, if that. So what, I might have to work 2 7-hour shifts to keep my fridge humming. You're wild. Nah, I can't believe this. £167 a month, yeah, should be spent on feeding clothing and providing education for my children, not funding the electric company's holiday package. Like, are they okay out here? No. Can someone please explain this maths to me? Because the math ain't mathing. What? Am I lighting up Blackpool Tower? Because I'm too loud to be ignored out here. Follow for more chaos.
So bottom of the list, we have Poland at 174 euros, average energy prices. Finland, 476 euros. Norway, 543 euros. Austria, 545. Holland, 546. Denmark, 558. All the way up to France, 650 euros per annum. The UK, would you look at that? £2,585 average energy price in the UK. Next, what I'm going to show you next is going to shock you.
Check out the price difference between taking a train from London to Manchester versus flying from Berlin to Manchester.
The point is, it cost us £150 per person to travel from London to Manchester. My one co-founder is actually based in Berlin. His flight return from Berlin to Manchester only cost him £20.
Now, when we had the price cap that started in July, and that was up 12.6%, the mitigation for that is it was over the low use summer period. But this is a 3.6% rise on top of the 12.6% rise, meaning that when we go into October, prices will be 17% higher than they were in April, and that is over the winter period. So this is particularly bad news.
Can you fucking believe that? How can the government let this happen? It's just unbelievable. I cannot believe it's nearly 20% more for your gas and electric this winter than it was last year. Like, we're not struggling enough. It's time to prepare for winter. It's time to prepare for ways that we do not have to put that blooming heating on. It's going to absolutely rinse us every month. I, for one, will not be touching that thermometer more than I physically need to. I've prepared with some blankets. So I've got 2 for my girls. I've got a mink, I've got a winter beret, and then I've got 1 for the sofa as well. Do you know what? They keep me really warm. They do the job. Dressing gown and a blanket on an evening, I think is going to do me. I hope it's going to do me. If you've just seen that news from me, I'm really sorry to break the news to you. It's not the best at all. I'm going to leave the link for these blankets down there. What's the name of the new Prime Minister?
Here's a question for you. Do you remember when you all went out and bought new LED light bulbs because they were cheaper to run? You got new appliances that were more energy efficient. Maybe you got yourself a hybrid car. You started turning your lights off more often. You tried to do what you could to save money. You led to believe by a government that now runs this country on apparently 60% renewable energy. Why it is your energy bills are 4 times higher than anybody else's in the world? Interesting question, that, isn't it? Maybe someone's trying to profiteer off of net zero. Oh, let's talk about net zero. Yeah, that'll add about another 1.5 trillion to the national debt by the time it's done. Likely most of that money will be funded by private companies. So if it doesn't go into the national debt, we will be paying it back to those countries with interest for a long, long time to come. Probably 50 or 60 years. But don't you worry. This Labour government have promised you'll save 300 quid a year on your bills. 300 quid. Your bills have gone up by £1,000 this year across the board. When are you going to start asking some questions? Huh?
So it's being confirmed the energy price cap is going to rise by 4% in October. Check out my pinned post for something that may help you on this. So the price cap changes every 3 months. Quite regular. We seem to only just have one change and we go into another. So it's going up 4%. Now, Andy Burnham said that he's going to help people out with the cost of living. So what's coming next? He now knows the figures. It's going up by 4%. We've got winter coming. What is he going to do? Myself, I think raising the home discount is a really quick and effective way to do it. It's a system that's already set up, helping those that really need it because they're on low income. Top that up a bit more. Straight away, you've helped those people. But this week he's been on about sending all the money to Ukraine and putting taxes up. So you had a bit of a hiccup this week about being Action Andy in a positive way. But let's see what comes up next. Remember, 4% rise from October, and check out that pinned post that I have on my profile that may help you out. It's worth giving it a look. Also on my profile is loads of other videos as well about lots of different topics, and if you ever have a question, just pop it in the comments.
So where's everyone running away to when this country goes to shit? Because what the hell is England becoming?
You can't live in the UK anymore.
£4,000 a year in council tax.
That's what I pay.
We left the UK.
Guys, we need to talk about the UK. We need to talk about why so many people are choosing to leave the UK.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but I can't understand why anyone would want to live or stay in this country anymore.
The cost of living in the UK was completely out of control, and that's why we left.
Do you know what, yeah, I'm so done with London, it's getting worse.
You can't live in the UK anymore. A lot of households are only just surviving.
4 months ago, we sold everything and left the UK.
Wow, just a few voices from people leaving the UK. Last year we saw over 600,000 leave. Many millionaires also leaving the UK, and it's estimated over the next decade around 12 million people will be leaving the UK.
No, I'm looking for a company that will charge me an extortionate amount no matter how much I use. So a standing charge, great. So I just pay you for the idea of energy. Brilliant. I'd also love it if you randomly increase my direct debit to whatever amount you feel like when you please. Estimates. Fantastic. Yes, I don't want facts anywhere involved in this situation. Just to check if I use less energy. Irrelevant. I also want my bill to feel vaguely threatening with no explanation as to why. Does my winter bill come with seasonal depression or is it extra? Okay, absolutely fine. Lastly, if I move to another area that you don't cover, that needs to be my fault. Yes, excellent. And I need to pay extra for that. Amazing. Great, sign me up. I hate my own money and I love confusion. Another 2 hours. Cool.
This is a monthly outgoing for our £500,000 house.
Water, we pay £51.40. This is quite low for a 4-bedroom house, but there is only 2 people living here.
Then we have gas and electric. We are with British Gas and we pay £151 a month. That's slightly more expensive than what we usually pay, and that's because we bought an electric car and we are yet to move to an EV tariff.
Council tax, we pay £264. We're on council tax band E, and unfortunately we can't do anything about that.
Internet, we pay £32.99 and we're with EE for full fibre, 150 megabytes. It is slightly expensive, but I think at the time when we purchased it, that was the best deal.
On a morbid topic, we pay for critical illness and life insurance, and we pay £78.86 for both of us.
That is a level term policy, and that means we get paid out a fixed amount no matter what. We got £400,000 for life insurance and £50,000 for critical illness. Now we have mortgage, which is our largest cost.
And we pay £1,869, which is on 4.36% interest and is for a term for 32 years.
Sounds crazy we're going to be paying for that long.
But we're planning to change that, hopefully. Yes. And there you have it, a monthly outgoing for a £500,000 house.
30 comments asking me basically the same question. So I finally looked at the numbers. Who's actually earning £3,000 a month? And honestly, the answer did surprise me. I'm talking about £3,000 a month after tax here. For a standard employee, that's around £45,000 salary before tax. So according to the latest data, the median UK salary is around £39,000. So £45,000 is above the middle. You're roughly the 60th percentile or something for employees. In English, please. You earn more than 6 out of 10 people. But what type of jobs can actually get you to that £45,000 salary? You could be looking at roles here like experienced tradespeople, project managers, IT and tech roles, accountants, sales, certain healthcare professionals, and experience, public sector or professional roles. And obviously the salary here depends massively on your experience, your location, and the job itself. But here's the bit that people get wrong when comparing salaries. A single person earning £3,000 a month after tax is not necessarily the same as a household bringing in £6,000 a month, because your financial situation depends on things like, are you single? Have you got a partner? Have you got children? Are you paying rent or do you have a mortgage? Do you have one income coming out of the household? Or 2. So is £3,000 a month a good salary? Yes, it's above the UK full-time median, but whether it's enough is a completely different question, because I'd much rather know someone's monthly budget than what their salary is. 2 people can earn the exact same amount, but live completely different lives financially. So if you do earn £3,000 a month, I want you to let me know in the comments, are you single or is that part of a 2-person household? Because I think the answers to this could be very interesting.
7 a.m. you're going to wake up and people's bills are just going to get that more expensive. This is ridiculous, right? And I'm going to go through this with you. I've just been listening to it on the radio. They've been talking about it, and you know, just everything seems to go up, all that sort of usual chat what they have. A 4% rise, people, in October. So that's going to be from October. The price cap will rise 4%. So 3-year high. Just as an example, it could go from 1663 to 1729. It could have been even worse were it not for the proposed removal of VAT from household electricity bills. But it's expected to knock off 45 quid for the annual price. £45. You could spend that in fucking McDonald's. I remember doing the video last year, was it, and telling people to make sure you lock in on your deals and, get the best deal for you. Does this not annoy you? Like, you think you've got to listen to people like Ed Miliband. Your energy bills, I'll save you up to £300, and they just go up all the time. So why the fuck are people listening to these people, trusting these people, and still voting for these people? I know he's not obviously doing that now, but this party and the Tories did nothing but fucking lie to us constantly. And I've said it for, 4 years, 5 years now? Every single household bill goes up. And that's council tax, food, electricity, energy, water, everything goes up every single year without fail. And these fuckers go, oh yeah, we'll get your energy bills down, we'll get this down. It's a load of bollocks. 7 a.m, you'll hear it announced. 4% rise, 3-year high. Happy morning.
Can someone please explain to me how we are just about surviving as a nation right now? I've just gone to Tesco's. I thought I'll get myself some lunch. I haven't eaten anything yet today. There were 6 bits of sushi in here, which I have demolished because, rightly so, it was absolutely stunning. It cost me £6. I ate it in about not even 5 minutes. The national minimum wage is £12.21 an hour. I would have had to have worked half an hour just to eat 6 bits of sushi. 6 bits of sushi. And then to top that off, I'm pretty going with the pink thing today. Pepsi. I didn't need 4 donuts. I can't tell you the last time I even bought a donut. Years ago. I bought 4 donuts. This collectively come to £18. I would have had to have worked an hour and a half to afford this. What the fuck? How are people surviving? How I'm sitting there and working that out. I am absolutely baffled. Absolutely baffled. Just I don't even have words. I'm so confused.
So I've just been to Tesco's, right, to get some chicken for 2 days, just to last me till the weekend. How are people living? I really don't understand it. So I just bought 2 packs of chicken, right? Chicken breast, 650 grams. 2 packs of chicken for 2 days. £4.90 a pack. £4.90. All I bought from Tesco's was 2 packs of chicken and it cost me £9.80. Nearly a fucking tenner. That is almost someone's hourly rate just gone in 2 packs of chicken. How are they expecting people to live? I really don't get it. I normally get my chicken right from Aldi or Lidl because it works out slightly cheaper. Yes, the quality isn't as good, but it does the job, right? Nearly a tenner for 4 chicken breasts. It makes no fucking sense, mate. Is it just near London where the prices are that high? Or is that countrywide? Let me know where you're from and how much it is in Tesco's for you to get 2 packs of chicken. 650 grams in a pack. Let me know because I feel for people, man. I really do. This cost of living is becoming a fucking joke. And I wonder why people want to move out of the country and go somewhere else and start fresh. It's a joke.
These are the 6 worst things that cost way more than they should in the UK. Number 6, fuel. At around 161p per litre, 80p of that goes straight to the government in fuel duty and VAT. So essentially, you're not paying for petrol, you're paying for tax. Number 5, car insurance. The average 17-year-old now pays £1,700 a year for their insurance. How is that affordable? And the worst part is getting into an accident, even when it isn't your fault, increases your insurance premiums, which unfortunately I found out when a tractor crashed into me. It's not your fault, but the prices still go up. Number 4, rail fares. We have the most expensive rail network in the whole of Europe, and most of the time you're stood up. We're really trying to push to go green in the UK, but when it costs more to get on a train than it does to just drive somewhere, somewhere on your own, that doesn't really make sense. Number 3, childcare. If you don't qualify for the free hours, childcare can cost more than a mortgage. So some parents are literally better off by not working, which is massively contributing to the UK's productivity problem. Number 2, university. The average student debt is now £53,000 and lifetime earnings for graduates has gone down. So essentially you're paying more for a degree which is less worth it. And even though the government looks like they're waking up to this, they need to do something and they need to do it fast. And number 1, the most ridiculous thing, housing. The average first-time buyer is now 34 years old. House prices have grown faster than wages for 40 years. So my generation is the first that might be locked out of buying a house that our parents could have bought on one of their salaries. No wonder the younger generation is so angry about the way things are going. But I'm sure there are other things that cost way too much here in the UK. So let me know what you think in the comments and follow for everything money.
Your energy bills are going to increase. The energy price cap has been increased by another 4%. This is off the back of a 13% increase just 3 months ago. Now, everybody in Ofgem been rallying for these increases to be every 6 months and not every 3 months. But no, the government don't want you to see a 20% plus increase. They'd rather you see smaller increases. So, you feel a little bit reassured on that. As if to say, as winter hits and we all start putting our heating back on, that we're not going to see a bit of an increase in our bills by another 4%. And don't forget, in the new year, there's going to be another probably 10% increase on top of that. Your government will tell you they cannot do anything about this. They are fully capable of putting a stop to these increases. They're also going to tell you that this is because of the conflict in the Middle East. If that is the case, we all get our oil and gas from the same places. Why do they have oil and gas prices, energy costs are around £500 per annum all across Europe as an average, and ours are around £2,500–3,000 per annum? It doesn't make sense, does it? We all get our energy from the same place, yet we are taxed so much on our energy. So as we're going into winter, your energy price is going to go up again, unbelievably, because they are already so high. And not just to think about the individuals in our own homes, a company. Now, I know a friend, he's got a warehouse around 25,000 square feet. We're talking tens of thousands of pounds he pays in energy every single year. So this is going to be another couple of thousand on that. What's that going to mean? Are you employing anybody? No, I'm not. This government, I don't know if you vote. I don't know if you vote for Labour, and if you do, I'm assuming that you're all caked up, and by that I mean you've just got money to burn. You really must do. If this isn't affecting you and this isn't making you think, Labour really aren't listening to the concerns of the people in this country. So there you go. Another price increase to look forward to, and there will be more taxes coming. Not just this one. This one's a nice quiet one because they can also sort of disassociate themselves with it because it's a energy price cap, but they are fully capable of stopping it and bringing it down.
I was out on like a cooler evening recently, and one of my friends turned to me and was like, "Sophie, are you not cold?" And being a bit facetious, my simple answer was, I was a student in Scotland. You think this is cold? There's nothing on that. Because when I was in my final year of university, we used to switch the heating on maybe for an hour, maybe 2 a day. And that got us through almost the entirety of winter. And that's because our energy bills were ridiculously high. Hi, my name's Sophie, and I'm proving to the internet why my degree in history is worth it by giving historical context to ongoing news stories. And this week I'm talking about energy. Half of UK energy now comes from renewable sources, mostly wind power. So why exactly have bills still been going up, even though we proportionately use less gas and oil, the things that are fluctuating so much right now because of the instability in the world? Wind, after all, unlike gas, doesn't cost anything. There are two main reasons for this, and the first, bear with me, I'm not an economist, is because the way that the UK energy market works is when you have a particular demand, let's say during the day, when not many people have the lights on, this can then be fulfilled, except then you have these surge times where extra energy is then needed, and it's these peak times that are the problem, because this is when we actually burn our oil and gas in the UK. The rest of the time we're pretty much self-sufficient with renewables. But the way it works in the UK is the most expensive energy source is the one that actually dictates prices. So even let's say in these peak times, if 60% of energy is actually coming from renewable sources and then 40% is coming from oil and gas, it's that 40% that actually dictates that entire block of time. The second issue is actually in the way that renewables function. So if you can imagine oil and gas, you buy a bunch of them and then you just burn them as you need them. When there's surge demands, you just burn more oil. But it's not like you can just get more wind. And this means you have to have a way to store the energy that you generate. So when you do have a not so windy day during a surge demand, then you can actually take the energy that's already being created and then put it back into the grid. We don't have the capacity to store the wind that we're generating as much as we ought to. This means the entire grid needs an overhaul, because it's not just about traditionally about how you get the energy and then create it, it's also about what happens after how to store it. In a lot of other European countries, the money that needs to be invested in order to renew these grids are funded by taxes. But in the UK, they're put onto consumers. And so consumers in the UK are left with the fact that you have oil prices which are just going up and up and up because of what's going on in the world. And also, secondly, this transition to net zero, which needs to happen, but ultimately is incredibly costly. So what's this got to do with the license that the UK has actually given to Rosebanks to drill more oil in the North Sea? That's what I want to talk about next.
Oh my, I give up. Honestly, I give up. What is the point? So apparently the hotter it got, the worse our solar panels worked, and the grid told gas plants to pick up the slack. So we've spent years being told solar and wind are the future, that they'll keep the lights on and cut the bills. Then the sun actually properly comes out near 40 degrees. What happens? The grid operator puts out a power warning and tells gas stations to fire up. You can't make this nonsense up. Here's the bit nobody mentions when they're selling you the green dream. Solar panels do not like the heat. They like light, but heat actually drags them down. Once a panel gets hotter than 25 degrees, its efficiency starts dropping for every extra degree. So on the hottest days, the exact days everyone's blasting the air conditioning, the panels are working worse, not better. So demand goes up, solar drops, wind was low, and France, which we lean on for imports, had to switch off a nuclear power plant because the river water was too warm to cool the reactors. Their power coming our way dropped by half. So who saved the day? Gas. That's right, good old gas. Generation jumped from around 8 gigawatts in the afternoon to more than 17 overnight. By Wednesday morning, more than half the country's power was coming from gas. Solar, less than 10% on a roasting hot sunny day. Now, I'm not saying renewables are useless. I'm saying we've been sold a story that does not match the small print. We've been told this stuff is reliable, and then the moment the weather gets extreme in either direction, freezing in winter or baking in the summer, the same thing happens. We quietly reach for the gas and nobody pays attention. And here's where it hits your pocket. When solar and wind drop and gas has to carry the load, prices climb. Wholesale power hit over £248 a megawatt hour at peak, up more than 75% on the same time the week before. That's not an abstract number. It feeds through to what you're going to pay. And the grid pulled through this time. The warning got withdrawn, supply held. Fine, but that's not the point. The point is we keep being promised a system that can handle anything, and it keeps needing the old reliable backup it's supposed to be replacing. And let's not forget where all our solar came from, because it certainly wasn't built in this country, was it? Jesus.
EDF, this one's for you. If you're not EDF, you can scroll. So apparently I use £800 a month of electricity in my 121-year-old house. Grab yourself a cuppa. Single mother, one child that is 4 years old, a very large cat, 2 dogs in a mid-terraced, £800 of electricity. This is an ongoing thing for 3.5 years now. I'm going to bring receipts. Now, this is not my first and only attempt at coming to a resolution with EDF. That's the reason for this video. I wouldn't really take this level and this platform unless I was in serious need of EDF sorts your shit out. 12 to 18 months, I can't remember, but I will put receipts. I received a bill, I want to say again, I think it was £1,800. I got this bill. I was like, excuse me, what? And I did question it at the time. I did reach out and say, there is no way that I can pay this bill. They sent me this bill 1.5 years later. When I sent this complaint, they then came back and admitted that it was a technical fault, and they actually hadn't been charging me for gas that entire time due to technical difficulties. I responded, I was like, I can't afford to pay this, and that's a technical issue that's your fault, not mine. And you can't just expect me now to have to pay this huge sum of money due to a technical fault that's your fault, and now you're going to try and charge me for 1.5 years worth of gas, which was also based on estimates, not actual readings. When I went back to EDF to say that obviously I couldn't afford this in all one go, they didn't reply. So that was the first thing. Going forward to September-ish last year, I had email from, they're called Morrison Data, and they collect data. So they're the people that come to your house, take your meter readings, knock on your door, blah, 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 blah. So I had an email from them to asking me to submit my meter readings. I did so and got the response. I then, in December or November, I can't remember, had a knock at the door, and it was Scottish Power. Shout out Scottish Power. And they told me, we're reading your meter readings right here on the little iPad, and I can see that you're paying this. And why are you paying this, please? And then I told her about this situation, and she probably thought, fucking hell, why did we ever knock on her door? But anyway, I told her about this situation. She was like, can I see that bill, please? And she was like really concerned. At this point, I didn't really think too much of it. I knew it was weird, but I didn't really know to the extent that it was weird. So then I showed her it. She was like, that is really not right. Let's switch you. But she was like, this is great. Anyway, switched me there, and then boom, done. Then 8th of December was my last time with EDF. And that is when I officially switched to Scottish Power. Scottish Power were here at my door, took the meter readings from my door for my gas and electric. And she told me, well, looking at you last year, your highest was like £100, I think it was, in winter last year. That's the highest you ever had to do. Bearing in mind, at one point with EDF, when they kept raising my direct debit, I was paying £190 a month. Okay? They kept raising it and raising it. You've got all of this debit. Can I just tell you, right, I've been a homeowner since 2015. I bought my first house, and I have never, ever been in debit. I have always been very high in credit. So this to me was bewildering. Me not understanding meter readings or anything about electricity or gas usage. Now I do. Me being me, I have to research everything because I know my rights and power imbalance. Let's just leave it there. Not gonna cut it with me. When you've been through court proceedings, when you have fought for you will literally have no fear when it comes to this shit, okay? Bring it on. You don't scare me. 30th of December, knock at me door, Morrison Data. Can we have your meter reading? Of course you can. My kid's naked, so I'm just gonna take a picture of it and show you it. Is that all right? Sound. Went in, took the picture, shown him at the door. Straight away, I was like, perfect, thank you, gone. Never thought anything else of it. 6th of January or something like that, got a bill from EDF. Just shy of £800. I think it was like 760, 780, something like that, right? Of November to the 8th of December, I had apparently used £800 of electric. And then when I looked into it further, I was like, hold on a minute. This is now the second time this will have happened. When I looked into it and I looked at the final meter reading that they had taken, I was like, well, that's not my final meter reading. Bearing in mind they'd been here like a week before, the Morrison's Data Man, yeah? A week before, and I still have the photos. I still have the photos from when I supplied the meter readings in September. And I have multiple evidence photos from the past 3 years of actual meter readings, actual, not estimate, actual. So then I started looking into it, and I looked over my entire account with EDF to see that the majority of the readings that they had put in were estimates. And then all of a sudden, I got a load of refunds. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny that all of a sudden my account was credited? So just would like to add that when I left EDF and switched to Scottish Power in December, my account was in credit. And now all of a sudden I owe them nearly £800. Bit fishy to me. Of course, when I looked into it, I was like, this is not right. So I reached out to EDF and I explained the situation. And I said, this is not the first time. And said, you need to go back and look over my entire account for the past 3.5 years, because what the hell have you been doing? Why have you been basing all of my bills on an estimated reading when you have, one, admitted technical difficulties and data thing to do with my meter. 2, I have smart meters. Also, 3, why could the Scottish Power woman come to my door and pick up every single meter reading at my door for the past however many years? Why could she do that? But you can't, and I'm with you. And if there was an issue, why haven't you done anything to reach out and fix it? Instead, you've just based everything on an estimate reading. Back and forth with them. They have then stuck to their word, and they've told me that my final meter reading was 20,000 and something. Shown them my meter reading on the December, so like a week before or whatever it was, and it was 18,000 and something. Okay, we don't need to get into the ins and outs of meter readings, but it doesn't go up that much. Okay, you'd have to be like a business to even have that usage. It is absolutely off the scale. I was like, well, how have you got this? And we've got it from your new supplier. I'm like,
and there's something almost comical about the phrase price cap. A cap is supposed to stop something going higher. But somehow our energy cap keeps moving upwards, like somebody's attached it to an industrial crane. It's the only bloody ceiling I've ever seen that keeps getting higher. And before anybody starts shouting politics at me, let's be clear about something. This isn't a political channel. There are complicated reasons behind energy prices, including wholesale markets, international events, infrastructure and government policy. But ordinary people don't live inside an energy market spreadsheet. They live in houses. They turn the heating on. They boil the kettle. They cook their food. They open the bill. And then they wonder why the bloody thing costs so much. That's the reality. You can't simply decide that you don't fancy electricity this month. You need it. You need heating in winter. You need hot water. You need refrigeration. You need lights. You need the basic services that make modern life possible. I'd love to tell the energy company I'm cutting back, but unfortunately the freezer doesn't understand the concept of austerity. And that's why these increases are so frustrating. It's not an optional expense like buying a new television or going on holiday. It's an essential part of running a household. The worrying thing is that people are becoming accustomed to it. Another increase arrives, and we shrug. Another bill goes up, and we sigh. Another explanation appears about global markets and wholesale costs, and we make another cup of tea. But underneath all that British resignation is a very simple question. How much more can ordinary households take? Because the problem isn't necessarily one individual increase. It's the cumulative effect of everything becoming more expensive at the same time. Food costs more. Housing costs more. Transport costs more. Insurance costs more. Energy costs more. And wages don't magically increase every time another bill does. Eventually, people have to start cutting things out. First, it's the holiday. Then the meals out. Then the hobbies. Then the savings. Eventually, people are cutting back on things they shouldn't have to worry about in the first place. And that's when the cost of living problem becomes much more serious. We're not talking about champagne and luxury cars. We're talking about keeping the bloody house warm. So yes, energy bills are going up again. And yes, there are legitimate reasons behind the changes. But that doesn't mean people aren't entitled to be fed up. Britain has an extraordinary ability to put up with things while making jokes about them. Perhaps that's why we're still here. We'll complain about the bill, swear at the kettle, and then put it on anyway. But even British patience has a limit. Cheerio. And remember, they call it a price cap. But if the cap keeps moving upwards, I'm beginning to suspect somebody's put the bloody thing on a rocket.